set the tone in terms of, we've been all talking about there's so much happening on the global scale, but it's amazing how good you can feel when you focus on something that's right here, right now for you.
Yeah. Oh, it's so important. You know what? I had Megan Rose on Sending Ravens yesterday, and we were chatting about, just life and just not about the news so much.
Exactly.
And so many people appreciated it because we got them thinking about, what's right in front of them or what's happened in their life. And it's not always have to be about the drama, right?
And that's so interesting because that's what I've been speaking to about with all my friends and stuff, colleagues. And I think it's so important. And, I feel because I've stopped talking about that and stopped engaged, I have watched a few things like someone sent me the really good documentary that Oliver Stone had made on are we allowed to say the U country?
I think so, as long as we don't say it several times.
Too many times. So about Ukraine. And that was really, really good because it was really, really educational and really, it's beautifully made. It's a brilliant film. And so I'm going to have to watch it a few times. It's on my Telegram. But I have been staying away from a lot of the drama because this sort of leads into the first question I wanted to discuss with you, and whether it's a discussion and how much is for the cards and how much is for Janine. I'll leave that up to you. But it was so obvious that both sides, there's so much fear being spread. And so I was wondering if we could ask the cards what advice they can give for people just to be able to step out of that. And a lot of it is, as you say, you were talking about with Megan. I saw that. It was really good. And it's exactly where I'm feeling as well. It's like when you distance yourself, it's not burying your head. It's very different to burying your head in the sand, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very different. But when you focus on lots of sort of wonderful things that are happening in your own life, and if they're not lots of wonderful things, I've been doing a series on manifesting. What do you want to manifest for your life?
I just the Janine part of that.
Yes, good.
For me, it would be like you in the big picture. So you stay big picture, we know that, I think we know, I hope we know, I know, let's say I know that human race will come out of this. And my feeling consistently and what I've been getting in the cards is we're going to come out of this better.
Yeah.
And so it's all a lesson. And also my whole life experience taught me that. They taught me that the harder things were, the bigger the lesson, the more I had to really check in with my personal integrity and do what personally was right for me. That was the only way to get through the lesson, every single lesson I ever had. You face these things and you have to do the integral thing, even if it's hard. You have to tell the truth, even if it's hard, like to yourself, at least, you know what I mean? Yeah, and just try to be personally integral in the situation from a place of personal freedom and make a choice for yourself. So that's been going on my whole life. And lots of people have had that experience where they recognize that the whole world just gives you these lessons. So the harder the lesson, like it takes longer to get through, but once you figure out what you're trying to teach yourself, so what the human race is trying to learn from this, and the biggest lesson is not to fear.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the biggest lesson is because this has been going on right under our noses, all of these things that have been lies and how we've been really misused and abused, really. Okay. So a couple of things I've learned in my life. I'm not a victim. So you can't go into victimhood. That's not going to work. And I also am not afraid. So I've learned not to be afraid of things. The only thing I'm still afraid of, the one thing I could actually say I'm absolutely not over being afraid of is heights.
Me too. That's so funny. Mind over matter. I've got a story about heights because when I was in Australia and climbing, when I was there, it was a long while ago, so we called it Ayers Rock then, but Uluru. And I am so scared of heights. And I thought when I went out there, it's going to be like a big hill, but it's proper steep and proper thing. It's just the most amazing place. But my best friend I was with, so I could not look back. I virtually set the world record for going up there because once I started, I couldn't look sideways. I couldn't look down. I was just focused on that way because otherwise I'd have just went to jelly. But she twisted her ankle really badly at the top. no help up there or anything. And when you get to the top, it's not just flat, it's huge, great sort of moguls. So because I was so focused, because I was seriously got to the top and I thought I can't go down, because when you're going down, I couldn't look up, I had to look down, and all you can see is this huge fall. But because I was so focused on the fact that we were going to be deserted there if we didn't get down in time by the time the coach left, I didn't have any fear of the heights. So it just shows it's all in your head. And when you have something else to focus on, which is exactly the same as now, isn't it?
Yep. Exactly. Good one. Yeah. That's a good story.
It was hysterical. And it was really funny because I was literally shaking like a leaf when I looked come down. And then she was in a real state and I couldn't look at that. I just had to focus on getting her down. And miraculously, the fear went away just like that.
Wow. These are the cards, what the universe wants to say about it. So have a vision for what you want your future to look like. Have a wish and a desire. That's a wish card. Focus on your wish and see the big picture. This is the really big picture where you go from one. So we're going from one plateau, so the age of Pisces, to the age of Aquarius, or from 3D to 5D. There's all these ways you could explain it, right? And apparently we're sitting in 4D right now.
Yeah.
The truthers, the people awake enough. They're not quite into 5D yet, because 5D would be there's abundance for all, and we don't have war, and that's 5D. We're not there yet. We're in 4D. You know what I mean? But some people are still in 3D. Yeah. People we love, even they're in 3D. Some of them. Anyway, so we're looking at the World card. You come to this plateau where you can look back and see everything that went on that got you here, but you don't know exactly what's beyond. So once she steps out of that, so there's that safety moment where you know you're safe from the past that was treacherous, but you don't know what the future looks like. So you got a moment to just sit there, take a moment to sit there and really congratulate you on everything you learned from the past, everything we've discovered. So we'll never go back there. Once you learn things spiritually, you never have to revisit them.
Exactly.
Okay, so you could take that moment, because the world takes a moment and stays in safety before they get unsafe again into new territory, right? Because we're going to create new governments, new school systems, likely a lot of us are going to be part of that. So we're just at that moment, even if that moment sits here for a couple of years of disorganized recreating. I mean, like that stuff doesn't happen overnight. Yeah. But the good news is we'll never go back there. That's the good news of that card. We're never going back there. So spend time visualizing how you want it to be and what you desire it to be like, because we create our own destiny. I've definitely created everything that's happening to me today. I wished for. I don't like being bored. I'm not bored. I haven't been bored for 2 years straight. I don't like just sitting around. I like to be useful. I love to be somehow relevant. I love to be, do you know what I mean? So everything I wished for, I wanted to be financially secure. I've never been more financially secure. I'm not a rich person, but I feel really secure for a person that came up as a single parent with single parenting 2 kids. That's usually not the case. You usually stay stuck in a financial doldrum. And I busted out of that. And I did it on my own terms, and nobody's my boss, and I'm free. Okay. So visualize that and be that, even if there's all these threats around us that look like that might not happen. The threats have already been conquered, but now we have to literally get the government on board with where we're at. We have to catch everything up. All those systems have to catch up. We already won this in a way by just the fact that we woke up. Enough people woke up. We won this already. Okay. But now we have to literally take on saying no and changing things.
I so agree. And don't you think, Janine, that we've only won it, but if we truly believe it internally? And what I mean by that is when we truly believe that we're never going back to the old systems, we literally, our actions will back that up. So we won't be buying off the corrupt organizations. We won't be working for people that are restricting our freedoms, etc. Because when you truly believe it, your actions are in an alignment with that belief. And therefore everything has to change. That's sort of the law of the universe. So I definitely created my new cat because unfortunately, the last two cats that we had that passed over, one was called Patch and Fluffy Duffy, who a lot of people saw on here because she used to join me in a lot of my videos. And the new cat, Mitzi, is like a combination of both. She's got patches, short hair, and looks like Patch, but instead of the black patches, she's got Duffy covered patches. It's just created, and then suddenly, oh, this cat needs a home.
Yeah.
First to volunteer. Okay, that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. So the other thing, this sort of follows on a bit, but can we ask the universe? There's a lot of people, and we touched on this the last time we spoke, actually, about a lot of people might be at some level swapping the mainstream media for their favorite truther, which is still a way of giving their power away. So can we ask the cards? Because a lot of people are starting to recognize that. Doesn't mean that they can't watch our videos, doesn't mean they can't that, but there's a difference between watching them, taking what resonates for you, and then seeing and checking in. Because we all know lots of people have got different opinions about what's going on. And just because you don't agree with one thing someone said doesn't mean you've got to chuck out everything they say. So can we ask the cards how people now that want to can start really tapping into their own inner guidance?
Okay, interesting. These same two cards, just in different placements, came up. So there's that visualizing how you want the world to look, and then seeking out ways that you can create that. So this creates something. Part of the way you can create that is when something is bombarding me that doesn't feel, it doesn't resonate with me, and it feels like it's disrupting. And it's not that, okay, I don't want to hear that, even though it's a truth. It's not that kind of feeling. It's more like, I know in my deep soul that isn't true, and I don't believe any part of that. So step away from conversations like that. It doesn't mean you have to complain about the person, or they just have a different take than you. It can even be within a video. You can take this part, and then this whole part over here doesn't work for you at all.
Yeah.
Okay. I have quite a few people that I circulate watching. Okay. Because sometimes they feel like they're really getting it. And other times I don't need to hear it that way or whatever. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong or right about them. Someone else might not like them at all. And who cares? None of that matters. It's like, just take it all. Like, it's like going to a reader. I always used to tell my clientele, I had clientele sometimes 20 years straight, and they'd come see me. And I'd be like, you need to go see somebody else about this. I could be getting too close. I could be getting my ego involved. I could really have my own vision of who you are. And you need a fresh, sometimes just circulating fresh and going back to somebody you used to listen to just to see where they're at. And like, you need to move it around.
It's really important. I do that quite a lot, Janine, in terms of, I might be really into listening and getting a lot out of someone, then step away for a while and then be drawn back again, because we're all changing. We're all at different stages. So that's absolutely fine. I hope that's helpful to people. Yeah.
I just watched Mark Atwood with a woman, a psychic. Oh my goodness. Right. So it's like, I'm really excited about what she said, but I've never heard her before. So today I'm really excited about it because it aligned with exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's great. But 3 weeks I needed to hear it today.
Exactly.
So it popped up. I try to be intuitive about it.
Yeah, I spoke to her a few times last year. She's an amazing lady, but I think her interviews were probably on my channel that got deleted.
Okay.
But she's a really amazing lady. Yeah, she really is. Yeah. So fantastic. So right, which one should we go on next? Okay, this one it's sometimes quite hard to ask these questions with a straight face, but let's ask the cards about, I'm putting him in inverted commas, Prince Harry, the person that they are calling Prince Harry.
Okay.
Is really making a big deal about how everyone needs to be tested for AIDS at the moment. Can we ask the cards what is the purpose by this? What is this all about? Who's directing him to do this?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, it's coming from like a long time ago but I haven't been looking at him for a while. But a long time ago he came over to the White Hat side, or the Alliance. And out of necessity, not because he's like had a deep feeling of wanting to change us. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? So they use his image.
Yeah.
I don't even know if a lot of what you see is real. Like, is it CGI? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, a mixture of a bunch of things, but they use his image. So this is the past. So this would be normally a good guy, but it's not necessarily the Alliance good guys, or I don't know who's controlling somebody's controlling his image, who owns his image now. Okay, this guy owns a lot of things. Somebody's controlling his image, and we've got surrender to. So it looks like some kind of propaganda, because this card can be fairly deceitful, especially if you have it next to this, because it can be about gossip and innuendo.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like they want to get that word out for some reason. Okay, but the fool's in the middle. So I don't know how much of it's true with the fool in the middle. Okay, so his image is putting this out there because somebody wants to start a narrative.
Yeah.
That's what that looks like. Surrender. So it's not out of truth. It's out of, they have a reason they want to start the narrative. Okay, fear maybe. Here's the outcome. We've got the Ace of Cups. So the Ace of, I don't think a lot of it's true. I think we'll have a whole nother thing come up. There may be some booby trap batches of that thing that have that issue, but I don't know how much of it's true. I feel like that's the other side starting a narrative. So the good guys now, or maybe there's some in the middle people, trying to start a narrative to add to the confusion right now, also to get people thinking about what did they do, and maybe they shouldn't do that anymore. Okay, they could have put anything in here, and then maybe it gets people looking into the W.
But he's not mentioning it anything to do with this.
But
he's mentioning it to do that there's a new virulent strain of AIDS over. Okay. So he's not making any connection between this and that. But
I wonder if they're trying to
this video off.
Do you think they're trying to get people to make a connection? Yeah. Because if you look, there's all kinds of info about that as well. I feel like it's all to get you to go in different directions. Mm-hmm. So it's like starting gossip and rumors with this card, and especially with the surrender and the fool in the middle. So it's setting something out there and getting everybody looking into things.
Yeah.
So because all of a sudden that just floating around and everybody's getting it. Like, does any of that make sense?
Well, it's another thing again about just brainwashing people into get testing for something when they've got absolutely no symptoms at all. And I know lots of medical people will say, well, that's how you early diagnose things. But no, we're not talking about that at all. We're not talking, we're just talking about fear. Yeah.
Something good's going to come out of it, believe it or not. I don't know what, because that card says it creates something altogether different. Something good's going to come out of it. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what that is. But he's controlled opposition by the good guys right now. So interesting. Yeah. So I wouldn't believe a word of anything that people like him say.
Yeah, exactly. I know. That's the thing. When you're asking these questions, it's just like, the pink unicorn told me today that. Yeah. So it's a bit like that. Okay, so the next one I've had quite a few questions on is that we've had, with regard to the U country again, it's been reported by MSM that the TV stations over there in the zone where there's all the stuff going on have been taken out, targeted, and they've taken out all their TV stations. Can we ask the cards if that's true or not?
Wow, I wish they'd do that to our TV station.
I wish they'd do it to ours. Exactly. That's a good point, actually. Yeah. Why haven't they?
Yeah. Okay. This is interesting. It looks like some of that might be true.
Mm.
So these are targeted sort of, so you got all this energy and very specifically targeting something, and a whole bunch of them. Okay. And a whole bunch of, so it looks like they are doing something like that.
Mm.
Very specific hits. And that's that. It's not necessarily targeting, maybe not all of them. Maybe they got some of them. And of the Fool again, so you could be getting a mixture of misinformation and good information. Oh, yeah, starting a narrative too. So really tricky. So many things. I think they are targeting things, but maybe not exactly how it's being put out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's interesting because everyone keeps saying the truth always comes out in the end, but it hasn't so far. If you look at history, none of us really have got a clue what happened in the 2 world wars or everything since. So I disagree with it. The fact that the truth always comes out in the end, not based on past experience, it doesn't.
I'm hoping that is the case going forward, though. I really
hopefully do. Exactly. We're just really. So the next question is, how many of the worldwide military, in terms of rough percentage, know the truth of what's going on and what's been going on?
These 2 cards again, this is the theme of the day.
Yeah,
I shuffled them pretty good there. We're not just pulling them off the top. So we've got the vision of, and or the wish and desire. Interesting that would come up when you ask that question. And we've got the Ace of Pentacles. So looking at those 2, oh boy, I'd say a really good portion of them do.
Yeah.
Those are all really affirmative and all encompassing. Wow. So that's interesting. Yeah. They've all been told the truth about, I feel like they've been let in on it. Mm. This guy's all about truth. He's about truth and integrity. And it looks like they're waiting. They're going to have a big moment really soon. Yeah. So that moment when the military steps out, I think that's real. I think that's coming real soon, looking at these cards. They're waiting. They're just waiting to be told. They're all on notice, it looks like. That's we're on notice. Any moment here, we could step out. Yeah, they've been told. Yeah. Wow.
That is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
That leads on to March Madness. Now, again, this is something that's a little bit of a bane of my thing, in terms of both sides are really fear mongering that there's going to be some huge great event that's going to affect everything, and we've had it every month we say this is going to be the month sort of thing. Yeah. But March Madness, as we're causing it, is there going to be something that's even going to the way the question was asked was scare, but I don't want to use that word. Is there something that's going to cause fear even in the awake people, or will it be pretty obvious to the awake people that this is part of the wake up process?
It'll be really obvious to us if we're paying attention.
Yeah.
Because it'll be really obviously a deep state, dark cult sort of thing. So it'll be something from their playbook that would be exactly what they do. Yeah. As they're still powerful and ruling the world, which we know they're not.
Yeah.
Okay. But very quickly get cleared up. So this is moving out of troubled water or seeing the big picture. When you look back at the big picture, you'll see exactly what, it's not them. It's trying to help let you think it's them.
Yeah.
They're going to do something. Definitely looking at these 2 cards, they're going to, something's coming up, and it's going to look really bad at first to everybody. But we're going to have the big overview, because stay with your overview, stay with your knowing. I've actually wrote a few people, sleepers, but that I really care about, family members. And I said, okay, things are happening. And I know you think I'm crazy now and everything, but when things get really crazy, and you can't figure out what's up and what's down, I still love you. Come and talk to me. I'll try to keep the I told you so's, that's literally what I said, to a dull roar.
Yeah. Bring champagne and I might not even mention it.
Be humble.
Yeah, that's what I've said to a lot of my friends. It says that, look, I'm very easily bribed with a bottle of champagne. So, you know, if you want to then, you know, come and discuss, won't even mention it if you come with a nice bottle or so, oh my gosh, he is hoping. Okay, so the next one is that will the Russia, say it quickly, will that country and the EU country, is this situation going to expose the corruption of Let's Go Brandon family?
Yep. It's also going to show you give the white hats or the alliance a way to step out and or Mr. T to step back in where he belongs. So yes.
Right.
That's a big yes.
Because it's the perfect now time, isn't it, for them to sort of come out and say, look, well, actually, you really want to know what's going on.
Yep.
Here you go, sort of thing.
There's already been like a Russian, I don't know if you saw it, I shared it on Telegram. I know, well, actually I shared it everywhere, but there was a fellow, no, he was from the U country, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember. An official, from the U country. And he basically laid out exactly what the power elites and in particular politicians in the US were doing in the U country.
Yeah. It was brilliant, wasn't it? It was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it was right or not, I've got no idea because it's well above my level of geography. Yeah. But it sounded very plausible to me. And actually, when I sent it to a lot of people that have got friends living in the U country, they all said they 100% agreed with it.
Yeah.
So that, and they obviously knew a lot more what they were talking about than I do. Yeah. So, yeah, quite incredible. Okay, slight change of tack now. Right, this is quite an interesting one. Is Antarctica beyond an ice wall surrounding a flat Earth? And if so, will we find that out? So let's ask if it is first.
Wow, that was a well put together question. I like it.
Me too.
Cards are being funny about it. So interesting, like looking at that concept and this card here, being very discerning and looking at that concept. So it's good to look at what we've been told. So it starts the conversation about what we've been told. But this card says, so part of that might be, some of that, what they said might be true, or the idea to look into what they say the world is like and how it is. It's definitely different than you've been told.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't, there's no yes cards here.
No.
And this card says some of it, right? Because this is like a 60-40 kind of card. So a lot of it, even there's 2 6s. So we could be talking about 60-40. Okay. There's definitely things from our past that could be revealed if we go up to Antarctica or go down to it. Everybody gets mad at me. I say up. I don't know why I keep saying up to it. Maybe that's even been reversed. Who knows?
Exactly.
That's my excuse. Yeah. But I say it no matter what. I always say up, but so down or whatever direction it is. It looks like, and we have a lot of ancestral knowledge hidden there or things about our past. Because this card's about nostalgia in your past. So 2 6s. And in time, the truth will come out. But this is kind of a 50-50 card. So some of that might be true. But I don't think it's all true. I don't think it's literally
not as straightforward as that.
The flat type, earther type people say, I don't think it's just like that. I don't think it's just like what NASA's been telling us or showing us. So I think it's somewhere in the middle. And before I was asked directly that, what's going on, what shape is the world, and I got it was maybe a bit of both and wavers back and forth. So talk about wild. I don't think literal as we think it is.
Well, you just reminded me of something there, because there's a whole thing about shape shifting. And my thought is just something else. It's not a well thought out thought, is that the shape shifting things, you know how they have all in plain sight and it's just throw us off. And so we always assume that shape shifting is a bad thing, but it could be something that's a natural part of the process of the good process as well.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
And you might notice shape shifting more when you're more awake as a person, because you realize that things aren't so literal as you thought they were.
Yeah, because we're all just energy and we see these defined lines and that's the end of us. But loads of people can see auras, and loads of people, you know, particularly if they take psychedelics or into activating their own DMT, can see things shifting anyway. So I think there's something about the shape shifting that's a real red herring to make us think it's all evil when it's not. Should we ask the cards that?
Sure.
Unfortunately, my wine isn't activating my DMT.
So shape shifting. So we've got a karmic balance card, and we've got this guy tells the truth, even if it hurts, kind of thing. He's not as brutal as the Queen of Swords. She's quite brutal about it. He even has a bit of a sense of humor. That's why his sword's slightly slanted. Also, he leaves room for interesting concepts, like kind of what you're saying, right? Like that is an interesting concept, right? So it feels like that's karmically correct what you said. It feels like that's correct. And we've got this too, but it's not ready to, we're not maybe ready to fully, but we're almost ready, because that too is almost ready. A lot of people, it maybe happens right in front of their eyes, but they don't see it, because that card chooses to see something or not. It's like, I'm not going to see anything. I got the blindfold on right there, choosing not to see something. So I feel like it would depend on your level of openness, because this guy's open to truth.
Yeah.
And when he knows the truth, he speaks it, but he's open to seeing it from different perspectives. Yeah. Whereas the Queen of Swords, she only sees one truth. Yeah. So she's slightly less open-minded than him. He's more advanced because he's open-minded. Interesting, right? So I think as we become open-minded, I think we'll see the truth more. So I guess that's a yes to what you were asking.
Yeah, no, it just suddenly makes sense to me. And I thought, God, they've made it so awful. But actually, when you realize that we're not solid beings, we're vibrating balls of energy anyway. We're all shape shifting all the time. It's just our eyes don't allow us to see it or comprehend it. But animals see very different things. Yeah.
I've seen humans shape shift, and not in a bad way. My medicine man in the Haida Gwaii. And I also had a landlord. Haida Gwaii is a very magical place. I'm going there actually in May, and I can't wait. Ashley and I are going to take a road trip. We got it all planned. But so the landlord was quite, maybe I wouldn't call him dark magical, but this landlord I had there in this really spooky place I live, it's a brilliant place. And I cleared the energy a lot from the darkness it was. But this guy was a shapeshifter, and he would come look in my window as various different critters, including this one particular stripy cat. And I always knew it was him. It's like, oh, there's so-and-so looking in the window. Hilarious. But that guy, I literally watched him shapeshift into that cat. That's how I knew it was him.
I'd love to shapeshift into a cat.
Yeah.
That would be my idea of heaven. Oh my gosh. Idris, will you teach me how to do it? He's lying back there. No, I just think this is so fascinating. I think this is all part of the stuff that is all going to open up to us and everything. So, you know, perhaps I will get my tail after all. The satellites that are in space, are they really in space, or are they hanging off helium balloons? Well, it might be none of those, but that was the question.
Well, we'll go with, are they really in space?
Yeah.
Because yeah, it's too hard to answer. Like
Yeah,
a
two questions. That's two different questions, isn't it?
So we got the Tower. And so it looks like it's maybe a lot different than we think, because this is a revelation card. And there's a 5 of Swords. So you won't even believe it when you hear it. Okay, yeah. So that's interesting. It's going to be a revelation. And it's technology brought by elders or wise ones, galactic helpers, all these words you could use for this, or our future selves come back to visit us and let us in on things, which, by the way, that woman that was on Mark Atwood, that's what, and you interviewed her, that's who she says she is. She's from our future. She's from the future in the Aquarian age. And so that's exactly that kind of energy, right? She would probably be this card if she's what she says she is. She'll probably come up with that card. So that's exciting. Yeah. So it's, I don't know how to say it, but it'll be really different. I don't think it's any of those. I don't think it's hanging from helium balloons or literally in space. I think it's a whole different thing, because this is, while you're busy looking at these ways it could be, it's a whole different way. Yeah.
It's the way our mind, it's like black or white, isn't it? We're so trained to think like that. It's like, if this person's either good or bad, and it's always 50 shades of grey.
Interesting. It looks like we're going to find out soon. We just can't see it yet, but when the whole world does this big turn, we're going to know. All of this stuff will be revealed soon when we're ready to see it.
Yeah.
Some people see it already, but I think the main population, when they're ready, we're going to see it.
Brilliant. God, so much to learn about. Right. Okay. Is the sun closer to us than we're told? Much closer to us.
Okay, well, I'd say no, because this card is the sun, the way we know it, because that's how I asked the question. The sun, the way we've been told, comes up as truth and integrity. She's truth and integrity. And this card, so if for now it works to think of it that way, is what this looks like. So I don't think it's because this card, there might be some slight differences, or there's a movement around it. Maybe it moves back and forth distance, which kind of wouldn't make a lot of sense to exactly what we've been told. But this card says there might be a little room to negotiate. Okay, but for the most part, it works to think of it the way we've been told. So that's interesting.
Well, anyone living in England, it makes perfect sense to move back to forward, because we can have one day where it's just really hot and really sunny, and the next day when it's like midwinter.
Yeah, so we're like that too here.
Yeah.
We have a lot of likeness in weather, I think, more so than we've even discussed in the past.
Exactly. You know, I was looking at some pictures that came up on the awful Facebook last year. And, you know, in February last year, we were really heavy snow, because I've got pictures of all the horses in snow. I'd completely forgotten.
Yeah. Thank goodness we forget those things, because I assume as soon as March comes, it's going to get warmer and warmer. And we usually have one blast in March where we're like, now we're 20 below again. And I hope that doesn't, where's some wood to touch. Do you know what I mean? I'm hoping that's not the case, but you know, almost every year it happens, at least a couple of days.
Yeah.
Now, I think some of this is based in spiritual energy that maybe we're not entirely privy to yet. So the thing about the sun, it's a spiritual energy. It's a spirit energy. It may be spiritual. It may even be a spirit entity. It may not be like planets like we think of them.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I bet it's not, actually.
Yeah, that's wild.
Completely wild. So this one, I think, is a really nice one from my friend Andrea. Okay. What guidance can the universe or the cards give to us, that those of us that think will wait, so that the next period, the next few months go smoothly?
Get out in nature
Yeah.
Make yourself comfortable. Be kind to yourself. She lavishes herself with kindness and attention first, so she can be generous to others. Okay, so do something nice for yourself first before trying to give to others. A lot of people forget that.
Yeah.
Okay, like have your bath first in the morning if that's what gets you going. I'm just speaking personally because I'm a Taurus, so I got to have my nice tub with lots of nice smelly things, which thank you very much for your beautiful gift box.
From your lovely shop. Yeah.
That was the sweetest thing. And I love the salts in particular, which is quite funny.
Oh, brilliant.
That I'm using those salts that I helped sort of figure out what scents to put in them. But anyway, so doing nice things for yourself and sitting in nature. She loves to enjoy nature. Very important. And this guy also, and also enjoy the fruits of the world. Okay. Yeah. Funny thing I've been doing, because I feel intuitively like we're going to be short some things in the future. I've been going out and making sure I stockpile on them. And I not to the point of hoarder. I'm not a hoarder, but I've been getting, like, I got my favorite coffee, 5 bags.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if there's shortages of things, just really just help your day go better. You want to make sure you got a few things if you can. If you can, get a few of your favorite things stocked up, because there is going to be shortages of things. We're all going to have to learn to grow our own things. And I don't know how many of us know how to grow coffee beans, you know what I mean? And things like that. And I know 5 bags isn't going to get me through, a year or whatever, but it'll get me through some months anyway. Right. So just doing a few, getting out there, because this guy's good to ourselves. Okay, so, and also if our dollar's about to crash, which I believe it will here in the West, or the dollar's about to, like that, what they call the fiat dollar. So that'll affect everybody's dollar. You know what I mean? Like I've been sharing mine a lot to saying, okay, go get the stuff you need right now with this.
Exactly.
While it's still worth, and there might be a period of time, it looked like certainly in March, where you won't be able to, I've been telling people to, pay for things in advance and get them so you can still get your money's worth now. Okay. And I've even put off doing my kitchen reno because I got a feeling the prices will be absurd to get it. Building materials have gone through the roof. So I decided
they really have over here as well. Yeah,
I can deal with my bad 70s kitchen. And we'll deal with it when the dust settles on the other side of this. And the Jasara Nasara thing, I believe that's real. When the RV reset, if that's real, that happens. It looks like it is. So there's a lot of things going to change everything. But for a while, there'll be discomfort. That's my belief. So I've been doing things. And so this is saying, do things that make you feel comfortable. And if that's just sitting in nature. Ashley and I went for a nice drive yesterday and we saw 2 eagles. Like, you don't see eagles almost ever around here. We saw 2 eagles and 2 ravens. We couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Like the ravens are more common because we're close to the mountains. So we'll see the ravens come into the city. They usually get chased out by the crows. Mm-hmm. You'll see 50 crows chasing 1 raven. That's quite funny. Crows could be like the mainstream media chasing a truther. I don't know. It's kind of funny. But we saw 2 eagles. So we had a feeling, because when you're out in nature, you're getting all of these. It's like getting, for me anyway, it feels like I'm getting affirmations. I feel like something big's going down in the US seeing 2 eagles, because eagles are their symbol.
Yeah, you're so right. And I'm so lucky because I get out in nature for hours and hours each day, because I'm doing taking my horses. My dogs always have at least a 2-hour walk every day. And there's something. So go along one. And that's really interesting, because what I've really, really noticed with my little rescue dogs that can be quite fearful of reaction in certain circumstances, I've noticed a huge shift over the last couple of months. And yes, they are getting older anyway, but it's a really, really noticeable shift in terms of how tolerant they are to everything else around them. And they've even stopped chasing the squirrels. It's like they're sending us a message of like, right, now we've moved on to the next level of maturity, where we're really setting an example that we can do this. We're letting go of our old baggage and moving on to our new selves. It's really quite profound, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really quite amazing. There's nothing like getting out in nature.
Yeah.
It's funny about the kitchen because I'm meant to be getting my kitchen. I've been waiting 20 years for my new kitchen, and we've just saved up the money because I'm like Ashley. I spoke to Ashley last week on our passion series, and I'm like Ashley. I love making herbal teas, but different herb mixes to burn, herbal ointments, mixing essential oils into different things. I love that. And I haven't made any more videos on that because I had loads on my YouTube channel that got deleted because I'm waiting for my new kitchen because my current one's such a disgrace. But I think I'm just going to have to do them and not wait. And just ignore the kitchen in the background. But it's just lovely, just collecting. And I have noticed what you were saying about getting stuff. I noticed a lot of people are really interested now on learning how to safely forage without taking too much, and how to dry their own things and make their own dandelion coffee and things like that. It's definitely a big interest in it.
Yeah.
How exciting.
I mean, Ashley could start a whole dandelion or huge organization because she has so many dandelions. I love that. Every year she gets all of these letters about it, and from the city, and she writes them, by the way, these are good for you, blah blah. I love that about people that love plants, and it sounds like you're the same. They like what, just because the C word says dandelions are bad, because that's probably where that comes from. Think about it. The dark cult tells you the dandelions are a weed. Okay, it turns out they're so good for you in so many ways.
So good for you. And stinging nettles, people think stinging nettles are so good for you and so nutritious. The highest sources of vitamin C. They're just amazing for so many different, and they cleanse everything. So it's really exciting. I love talking to Ashley about that because we were just, so we've got such the same interest. This is why I can't wait when we go and see each other. Because it's just going to be such fun, isn't it? It really is. It's going to be such fun.
I love that video you did with her, and I think it'd be really fun to meet all your critters.
Oh yes, I've got a couple more. I've got another video that I'll put up tomorrow that I've been doing. The problem I've got, my friend Andrew is going to come over because when I'm doing all the animals, I haven't got enough hands to then video it. So I need an extra pair of hands, but they're just amazing, and the level of messages they're giving on a daily basis is just unbelievable. It really is. It's just lovely. And like when I was talking to Ashley, like your cat's always coming in, and Tobe was coming in. It's just wonderful. So, but your trip to the Hawagai with her will be amazing.
Yeah, we can't wait.
I bet you.
We had to book the ferry and everything. You have to book, if you're thinking of going, you have to book literally at least 2 or 3 months ahead. Yeah. Especially in high traffic times. We're going in May, which is not necessarily a high traffic. And we're not flying, we're driving because we have a whole thing we need to do first. We have to drop off my son's car in Vancouver. And so we got all this stuff, but it'll be a fun road trip because her and I love the same music and we get along great. So
it'd be amazing. So thank you so much. So any final message from you or the card before we?
Let's see. That's funny that both of us today have an uplifted feeling.
I just feel great. I just feel really, really great. Yeah.
There's surprises coming. There's a surprise coming that involves the military, it looks like.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's hope that's the thing they've been talking about for so long. Because even though that'll be kind of, button pushy for a lot of people, knowing that will be so good because we'll know that all of this will come out if that happens. Yeah. So people remember the big picture when that happens. So it looks like that's the next big. We got a big thing and a surprising thing. Also, this can be about wee ones from 12 and under to the very 0. So little ones. Okay. So it's somehow tied to some information maybe coming out about that, or that goes along with it. Because remember that I keep getting, that's the next thing. It has to be exposed in a big way. Never mind Mr. B getting it. Never mind it, but all stems back to what they've been doing with 0 to 12s and humans not just the 12, but in particular that.
Exactly.
That's sort of something that has to. So, and this card can be about information coming out. So that was in the past, and it leads to this. So it leads to, so we've already seen it in the U country. That's really what they're going in there for, is to clean up things and labs of different sorts, start with bees. And, but with now Taiwan likely and Australia, apparently. Huge they still got a lot of that going on there. So there's those two places that I don't know which one will go first, but I think there's going to be similar things that look like a conflict situation. And it's really to clean those up and bring that all out and bring out the these guys.
Yeah. So if it gets overwhelming for you listeners, remember, you can go for a walk, you can go and play with someone's dog or cat if you haven't got one of your own. Look up planting vegetables, just plant. Doesn't matter whether it's on a windowsill, if you've only got a window box, or whether you've got a huge garden, whatever fits you, that it's just so rewarding, and it will just take you back down and calm you down and everything. Because it's so important, isn't it, that we don't slip into that fear again.
Hands in the dirt. Yeah.
My nan always used to say that whenever she was doing, because she was still gardening to the day she died, and everyone used to say, well into her 90s, and she'd say, whenever I put my hands in the earth, it's like all my problems disappear.
Yeah.
So true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Janine. Thank you so much, everyone that's watching. I will be giving everyone regular updates on my new, I can feel my contractions starting now.